This is Rev Michelle Hopkins. This is the area behind my home. As you can see, lovely blue sky. There would not be a cloud in the sky were it not for these chemtrails. And you can see in the dispersal of these chemtrails, number one, there are two different kinds of mixes, two different kinds of dispersals, and you have yet another kind of mix, another kind of dispersal coming across in a T. This is behind my apartment. On the other side of the sky, what they've already done, you can see the chemtrails in throughout these dispersions. There's a plane laying down a chemtrail right now. You can't see the plane. The reason is because it's so high, number one. And number two, there's so much material between us and the plane itself is being blocked out. That's called cover. We are under this cover, they are over this cover, and so we can't see what kind of plane is laying it down. And now we begin to see some undulation. Here's a brand new chemtrail full of barium. You can see the sun. There's so much barium between us and the sun. It is just glowing like barium inside a patient when it goes to take a CAT scan. You drink all this barium so that it will do this, so that you'll be able to see the glowing barium when it is when the barium is subjected to radiation. Look at this. Look at how bright. Now this is up in the Richmond area. They've been up there. They've been chemtrailing up there. You can see the different dispersion patterns, and the sun is just milky white with it. Look at this diffusion of light. It's just outlandish. So much barium in that sky. Look at that. They're just busy as busy can be, and I want to find out why that is. Why are they this busy? I don't like the colors and the patterns that I'm seeing, and there's a lot of globule particles in this, which makes me wonder if there are not biologicals in gelatinous mass. And here we see sonic undulation. It's higher than infrasound. Sonic undulation, meaning that they are creating conductivity in the particulates there. If this is low enough to create absorption of moisture, it will give us more downfall. If this has been sprayed high and then undulated, this is going to take moisture out of the area. And it's not accidental, folks. They're doing this with purpose. This is not experimental. We're past the experimental stage. We've been doing this since the 1940s when we started seeding clouds for good reason. Remember back in the day when people were going through drought and we seeded clouds and it rained for them so we could feed the world? Well, now we're doing it the opposite way. Now we are fortifying clouds with this garbage and creating volatility that destroys. And where we're not creating volatility, we're creating drought and dust bowls and death and starvation and creating a dependency on GMOs from Monsanto and other GMO creating organizations. Now I'm going to look at several different maps to find out the big picture of what really is going on here. As you can see, the entire eastern United States is being hit with sonic spikes all over. Now what happens when we are hit with these sonic spikes is the area where we're hit, the particulates that have been sprayed in the air with all these chemtrails become alive. Now this is a map that shows reflectivity of moisture. Alright, and that's what's going on here. This gray matter, these are the particulates. Alright, the gray matter is sending back negative return, meaning that the radar that hits it, that's showing this picture, is being absorbed by whatever is between the Earth and the radar. What is absorbing this radar is these particulates that are being sprayed, so that's why we're getting this gray outline. Now, the bluishness that we're seeing in this is the moisture, and the measurement of the moisture is measured by how deep the color is. The deeper blue, the more moisture. And here we see the yellow, which is more than the green, which is more than the blue. And then we have the orange, which is more than the yellow, and the red, which is more than the orange. The more color that we have in here, the more intense the moisture. And the more intense the moisture, more likely the more intense, more volatile the storm. Now, as you see, every time it's being hit with the sonic spikes, and that's what they are. They're spikes that are being delivered through frequency. They are sound, and they're being hit directly to these areas, and as soon as they are hit, these areas are hit, the moisture becomes really rapidly immense. You see, it's more and more moisture every time it's hit. Well, there's a reason why we're creating moisture on the eastern portion of this weather that the powers that be have created through HAARP and chemtrails. It's just one of many that they're creating every day all over the world. We are creating this ability to maintain its cohesion all the way to the end, to the eastern coast of the United States. And it's not volatile, they're just creating this and bringing it across. Some people are getting snow, some people are getting rain. I'm not really upset at this one because nobody is getting any viciousness out of this storm. They have named the storm. This one is TRIDENT, from a Greek god. On the other side of this, we're getting spiking as well, just to kind of move it along. Now, let's look at another map. This is sonic activity pressuring this from the southwest. Alright? And we're going to go down in that ocean and remind ourselves exactly what's down there. Look at this. This is amazing, and it would appear that these clouds are going down in and being pushed upward. So I think we have a combination of satellite activity and the TTA at Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz Island has its own TTA. Wow, this is a really big one. SCI1. This is a very large TTA. All of this is, these are all antenna. A massive array of antenna, all directed at the United States. Look at this, in a huge, huge TTA. Wow. Santa Cruz. Now you'll notice this great black hole of frequency, this great cauldron of frequency undulating this entire area, focuses on the oceanic area in the Pacific near the Isle of Guadalupe. Let's look down at the Isle of Guadalupe. What is in this area in the ocean? And we find a huge hydroacoustic Tesla Tech array just to the west in the Pacific Ocean of the Isle of Guadalupe. And this thing is gigantic. Every single one of these triangular things is a directional array. Directional meaning that it can move in any direction and it can emit frequency in any direction. These are mirrors. They are used with them to help direct frequency. But do you see how many of these arrays are on this facility? It is gigantic. No wonder it's capable of helping to create this massive cauldron of frequency from under the ocean. Look at this thing. It's huge. Look at all these different arrays that are on it. All of them in this hydroacoustic Tesla Tech array. A TTA that is hydroacoustic under the ocean west of the Isle of Guadalupe. Pushing up this area, helping to force this weather system not only into cyclonic activity, but also more to the east, and keep it going to the east. This is all chemtrailing that has been fed into it and is dispersing and being brought down into this black hole. This is a magnetic hole, as you can see, and all this is being forced up down into this and back up into this whole equation. Wow, this is really amazing what they're doing here. This is a global system, by the way. This is all under the auspices of the UN. This is a global weather system that we now have going on. We are controlling our weather more and more and more, but this is immense. I mean, the amount of frequency activity that is going into the creation of this is mind-boggling. It's more than one unit. It's an orchestrated process. Wow. Is all I have to say. Wow. It looks to me as though there is frequency that is going down into the ocean and coming back out of the ocean as well. It's not just over the atmosphere, which is creating that black hole. This is our area. Now if we zoom in, I can show you where we are with our chemtrailing now. This is our area. And they're just now beginning to show the undulation in the chemtrail. And the chemtrail is getting thicker and thicker. And here is the evidence from International Space Station that all of this infrasonic undulation has been used to pass across the western part of the United States and force that weather pattern eastward, all the way from the Guadalupe area. You see all of this undulation coming up at this storm, forcing that storm eastward. Now this IntelliCast radar map clearly shows us that this weather system that is from north to south, all across from shore to shore, the United States, going across from the west to the east, is fed and originates in the Gulf of Mexico. And we've already seen that there are TTAs down in the Gulf of Mexico, so I don't have to show you those anymore. And there is some volatility to this storm. I mean, by the time it gets to us, to this area, we're close enough to the powers that be that we very rarely ever get anything major. But these areas are suffering from this storm. Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois may get some. Indiana may get some. The northern portion of Ohio may get some. It may go all the way through to northern Virginia and Pennsylvania, all the way into New York and New Jersey. They may get some more snow as well. So for them, it's much more harsh than it is for us. It really irks me, that these scientists who are creating these weather patterns now are so filled with such hubris that they were so upset that other storms got their names, hurricanes and tropical storms and so forth. They got to have names. So why don't we get to have names? Domestic winter storms, and I would predict that even summer storm fronts and weather patterns and so forth that cause numerous tornadoes, they will begin to be named. And the reason they are going to be named is because they are created, and the person who creates them is the one who is accredited with that name. I worked on such and such a weather storm. That was partly my creation. It's part of this person's credit is they worked on Winter Storm Trident. That's what these names are about. And it's interesting also that a great many of them happen to be the names of gods, because these powers that be are being told part of the process of becoming a god is to manipulate the weather, control the weather on your planet. I would like to thank sweet Bobby Mann for all his contributions, the pictures that went into this video today from the chemtrails around my home and around his home. A little bit of something about Bobby. Bobby is a vocalist like myself. He plays the guitar and he sings and has a beautiful voice, and he sings a couple of songs on his web channel, on his YouTube channel, The Lighthouse and Beulah Land, and they are very inspirational. I highly recommend them to everyone who is a passerby who would like to say hello and thank you to Bobby for all of his contributions to my videos. God bless you, my dear sweet love, Bobby Mann. This is Rev Michelle Hopkins. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.